Okay. All right, so I'll be quick. I'm sure you've all seen this slide. What informs, are we together? What informs the provincial implementation plan? We know what informs it. It's research, it's our development plans, it's our NSP, it's our midterm review of the provincial strategic plan, and it's consultations. So all of these documents inform what will be our new provincial implementation plan. Yeah, let me not talk too much. Now, our provincial implementation plan is informed by the national strategic plan. Because remember, we are all contributing towards the national goals. We are all contributing towards one picture. And so all the provinces will be saying, what is my contribution to the national strategic plan? What do I have to do to be able to make that contribution? And I think, as has been said earlier by earlier presenters, KZN bears the bulk of the burden of the disease, so much of the work needs to be done within KZN, and therefore we need a very clear, practical implementation plan. Because if it's not clear, if it's not providing clear guidance, the country will not move in the direction we want to move into. So the NSP is like the driver in the car, then we have the body, which is the provinces, and then we have the legs, which are the districts, the partners. So if the whole car is not well assembled, we are not making it, okay? So the first goal, which is what we are adopting, because we are adopting the NSP goals, is to accelerate prevention to significantly reduce host infections. It's around prevention, breaking the cycle of transmission. And I think it's very important, like Rosalia said, to understand where are infections coming from. What causes infections? Why are women more likely to be infected than men? And I think there is new evidence that is showing that when women's genitalia area is affected, then it creates opportunity for the virus to be infected. So we need to be aware and know how we can prevent. The second one is around addressing social structural drivers, and we had it in our previous PSP. The third one is to reduce, there's a word reduce there, morbidity and mortality by providing easy access to treatment, care, and adherence support for all. This is where all your 1990s for HIV and TB get parked. Now, during the Tuesday meeting, those who are present, there was a new goal that was added. That's why it's in red. It was not in the previous draft. It's ground the response to HIV, TB, and STIs in human rights principles and approaches. So, as of last week, we had 7 goals. Now we have 8 goals. The 6th goal is to promote leadership and shared accountability for a sustainable response to hosts. The 7th one is about mobilizing resources to support the achievement, because we realize if we don't have funding, we've all been complaining, we cannot implement if we don't have money. And the final one is around strategic information. If we don't understand our epidemic, if we don't know what's truly driving our epidemic, we will be going south when we should be going east. So we need to generate data, we need to generate research that will inform our programs. And I think, as earlier said by Patrick, sometimes research is generated, but it is not informing our programs. And so what we intend to do as we are working on this provincial implementation plan is to also engage with the research community. Once we have our draft PIP, we will engage the research community and have a discussion with them so that we see and ensure that all the research, new research and evidence is being incorporated and is informing the PIP. Are we together?
Yes.
Okay, and then we have what I call the critical enablers. The understanding and appreciation. I don't know how many of you are familiar with the investment case model. The investment case says that there are some things, you might have beautiful programs. You might have programs that are evidence-based, but if the environment, what you guys were talking about, if the environment is not conducive, then we are not able to achieve our goals and objectives. And so some of the critical enablers that have been identified is around issues of procurement. I mean, what we've been discussing here, around the female condom, for example. If we cannot be able to forecast properly for the need, then our targets might be low enough, and we are saying we are achieving our targets, but it's because we did not properly understand the environment and properly forecast. So these are critical for success of service delivery. They are critical for the success of the implementation plan for success. So what is new? Prevention and combination prevention, test and treat, focus on location and population. I think Shalon talked to that. Focus for impact, and I think Ma'am Trifina will be happy to share with you if there is opportunity about the geospatial mapping with Leslie, who is spearheading, at least in the province, the pilot of the geospatial mapping, where we are trying to understand where are the hotspots. Where are the hotspots for both HIV and TB, and where do we need to focus to get the greatest impact? Which populations, which locations are greatly impacted? Where can we make a difference? And then there is prioritizing service quality and focusing on enablers to substantially reduce loss to follow-up. And then differentiated model of care. We know the differentiated model of care. Sexual networks. Shalom presented the graph about who is infecting who. If we do not understand who is infecting who, we are just doing business as usual. We are not going to achieve our results. But I think it's not enough to leave it at presentation. I think, what does it really mean on the ground? And I think that's the discourse we need to be having. What does this information mean in terms of programming? How do we use this information to now program so that women and girls are not getting infected, and the people who are also getting infected later? So I think we need to have more discussions around that. And then multi-sectoral response. We understand that if the other sectors are not coming on board, we are not going to achieve epidemic control. The civil society sector and other government sectors need to come on board, because we understand that the structural drivers of the epidemic will need to be addressed by other sectors that are non-health sectors. And then an expanded approach to costing and finance. The budget was read yesterday, so we all know the impact of the budget. And so what does it mean? I think health received around 200, was it billion? And I think, 180, close to 200. So what does that mean? If there's no additional funding coming, what does it mean for us? So we need to be innovative. How do we leverage existing resources? How do we leverage private sector? How do we leverage our community? Because communities have assets. They may not have money, but they have some community assets which are in-kind contribution that could translate to cash. You can cost those. And so how do we ensure greater efficiency in the use of resources? And I think many times we think communities don't have skills, but they do have skills, that we can tap into. Maybe they speak in Zulu and they don't understand our jargon, but if we are able to understand what they are saying, we might be able to actually make some progress. So we need greater leveraging of our communities. And then strengthening strategic information, like I said, to be able to make changes so that we make sure we are going east if we wanted to go east. I think I will not go into the details of what's contained in each of the goal areas because of time. If we had more time, we would have gone into that, but because of time, I think that will be captured during the discussions. And then where are we at with the development of the PIP? We've done the district consultations. We met some of you in the districts. We've had work on the response and situation analysis per goal area. And then we've started working on the implementation plan. It's not finalized. We are still collecting inputs like this meeting. But we're expecting that the first draft, because the first draft may not contain all the information, but we hope by end of next week we could start having our first draft, or by early March. We are ambitious people. We are dreams. Remember, we are a dreams province, so we must dream, And then if you don't reach the moon, at least maybe you'll reach the sky. Yeah, so we are still hoping, we're still dreaming that we launch by 24th of March, as unrealistic as it looks, but let's keep dreaming. So the roadmap is that we still need to have further consultations with the wellness practitioners and also the research, but that's at a later date. And then the drafting, like I said, by next week or first week of March, then indicators and target setting, refining of interventions, stakeholder validation, endorsement, M&E plan, and then the launch. I think I'll end there. Yeah, thank you.